Welcome, everybody, to the Candle Enthusiast. I am your host, Shane Carlson, and this is Aromatically Speaking, my secondary channel here on YouTube for Smell It Sunday, a live stream every week where we sit down and we discuss what's happening, where we talk about candles. I gotta lower the volume here. And, well, just turn the music down in general. Smell It Sunday. It's a live show where we go live. And we sit down and we talk about candles. We do candle unboxings. We do candle evaluations. A little bit of sensory evaluation. A little sniffy sniff. And I describe to you what I smell, in hopes we can create a little bit of smell-o-vision between you and I, really. So today we have a packed show. We have a lot of stuff to do, quite literally packed, because we have a stack of boxes that we need to plow through. But I want to start off with a box that was sent to me kindly by a candle company by the name of Burn Something Candles. And you can find these folks at burnsomethingcandles.com, but you can find out all of their info and social media links down in the description below. But make sure you hang in, because I seriously have a stack of boxes of all different sorts of things that we're going to go through. We're going to be talking about some old Yankee candles, and then I'm going to be doing some post-burn analyses. Yes, I'm going to start doing this on my live show. Take the candles that I've been burning all week and discuss them with you, talk a little bit about my experience with them post-burn, which is something is quite new to me. I've never included that on my main channel, the Candle Enthusiast. And just as a reminder, we are going live, so make sure if you have your computer next to you and you want to join the conversation, come on in. I want to welcome everybody into the chat room. Hello from New Orleans. All right. And spooky finds. Yes, we will be talking about some spooky items, that is for sure. And keep the comments coming. I'm going to do my best to kind of keep my eye down here so I can address any questions or comments. But feel free to talk amongst yourselves. Let's start. Let's jump right into it. All right. Oh my God. That's not an exaggeration. That is quite heavy. So this is the box from Burn Something Candles. I did open the box. It was in a bigger box. I opened it up, took this out, and I briefly looked inside here just to make sure nothing was broken, but I promise I did not gaze. I did not gaze for too long because I want my reactions to be fresh. I want them to be authentic right in front of the camera. So let us open this up, shall we? We have the knife. I put a little tape on it to make it exciting. Wasn't too difficult to unbox this. We have a note. We have Elsa in the back, causing trouble, I'm sure. All right, let's read this. I'm just going to do a little summary of this. Hello, Shane. Thank you for including my things for an unboxing. A little about Burn Something Candles. I started making my own candles about 5 years ago. Soon after, I decided to make a sellable product. Knowing that candles can be bought literally everywhere, I had to find something that would set me apart. That's when I learned how to make molds. Ooh, that's interesting. Make molds out of my own sculptures. You'll see an example of this with the slime guy I sent you. He's special because there is a surprise enamel food pin inside him. You can find a time-lapse video of that on Instagram. I actually have, this is from Angel of Burn Something Candles. I have your Instagram page pulled up. I'm going to keep this here for reference, just in case I need to reread it, but let's jump into the box. So there is, ooh, the slime guy. The slime guy. This is Slimer, is it not? From Ghostbusters? So, if I'm not mistaken, if I read that correct, she's a sculptor, and she makes her own molds. Oh, that's really cool. That's really cool. Look at the, let me get a little extra light here so we can see some detail. Woo, that's a lot of light. Maybe we don't need that. And this smells amazing, I should just say. Yes, Slimer from the Ghostbusters films and the cartoon. Very nice. You know, it's really hard. I've been making molds my entire life. Very difficult thing to do. And I'm trying to figure out if this is... This looks like... I see what happened here. This is a one-piece mold. So she poured this probably into a silicone mold. And then, very creative, because this is what the hard part is with making molds, she attached the arms separately. You see that? Now, I'm guessing you just drop that into your wax melt, your crock pot, your tart warmer, whatever you got that creates heat. And you know what I was hoping this would smell like, and it kind of does, is the high C Ghostbusters juice from the 80s and the 90s. I'm trying to think. It was called something tangerine. It was green in color, but it was tangerine flavored juice. I say juice very lightly because God only knows what was in that stuff. But it's so super nostalgic, and this just smells great. Definitely has that citrusy, maybe even tangerine. Yeah, the more I smell it, has that tang, like tang as in the powdered beverage, and candy-esque, like orange runts. I'm going to put Slimer back in here. It's a very cool way to start this unboxing. Come on, Slimer. Maybe I can do a time lapse myself at some point. And we also have a matchbook. You know, I like doing these unboxings because it shows you, you know, if you order from any of these companies where I do these unboxings, you know how your products will arrive. And this is what I'm talking about here. Not only is there like padding around the whole box, but it's in between items. And she's even wrapped it in black tissue paper. So when you open it up, it still has that, I just bought like a subscription box, or I just got a subscription box in the mail. It doesn't look like you bought something off eBay and it's just filled with, you know, like supermarket newspaper, you know what I mean? There's a lot of stuff in here. I'm going to do my best to get everything highlight everything, but I don't know if we'll be able to do like in-depth analyses on these guys or evaluations. Okay, I'm going to start with a big candle. That looks pretty big to me. Oh boy. Now, I have the website pulled up too for Burn Something, so we can take a look. But also, I tried not, just like with the box, I tried not to go through the website too much because I just want to get my reaction on camera. So Burn Something Candles and More at burnsomethingcandles.com. This candle called Sexy Breath. Sexy Breath. That is something that a coffee drinker like myself does not have. So let's see what's going on. Ooh, oh. Mint of some kind, peppermint, of course, but maybe some others. And, oh man, this is really interesting. Baking soda. Yeah, like, I've done that before. Like, whether you got baking soda, like Arm & Hammer toothpaste, or use the powdered stuff. I've done that, I won't lie, when I've run out of toothpaste. But there's that, like, baking soda saltiness that reminds you of, like, baking soda, or of like Arm & Hammer toothpaste. And still very sweet. So, you know, it rides that line of toothpaste, but still very sweet. Where if this was a stick of Wrigley's gum, oh yeah. I love peppermint. I seriously do. It's one of my favorite fragrances. I'll burn just straight up peppermint candles whenever, you know, I wake up, you know, and, you know, I go to the office in my house, and, you know, I have this thing, you know, that I do where it's like, I pray when I open the window that there's going to be snow, even in the summer. In the morning, I'm always in the mood for it to be winter, and more specifically, Christmas. And peppermint brings me right to Christmas. But it also, I have to admit, it brings me to the childhood, but the smell of the interior of my father's car, my aunt's car, even my mother's car. It's amazing. Like, when you're a kid, you don't think that you smell the gum in the car as much as you do. But everyone does this, right? You leave the pack of gums in the glove box or the console. God forbid you leave it on the dashboard. And then, you know, you get one of those sunny days, you open up the door. Whew, you know, you have, like, Wrigley's taffy. But this does kind of remind me of summertime with my aunt going mini golfing, chewing on some double mint gum. Very nice. But for the sake of time, we do have to keep going. There's so many interesting things already. All right, so watermelon candy. This is perfect because I just burned a watermelon candle, and I'm actually going to be talking about it later in the show. It's a brand new watermelon candle by Kringle Candle. But watermelon's been, and I actually just had a watermelon ice pop not too long ago. I got watermelon on the mind here. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So we've been seeing, you know, in recent, in the candle industry, a lot of new releases. Yankee Candle had that bunny carrot thing for Easter that was cucumber, but it had a very melon-forward aroma. I just burned a Kringle candle, like I said, that had this very strong, authentic watermelon smell, and with that cucumber, like you just, shave the skin off of like 20 cucumbers. But this is much more of the Jolly Rancher, baby. The Jolly Rancher, super sweet, super tangy, borderline sour, and super addictive candy. And there's a taffy quality to this. So imagine if they made a Jolly Rancher saltwater taffy, a watermelon Jolly Rancher saltwater taffy, or I'm sure Jolly Rancher has to make chewy candies. If they made a chewy candy the consistency of Starburst, I'm kind of getting that, because there's a kind of a creamy, soft confection, that perception that you're smelling chewy candy, like taking that wax paper off the saltwater taffy, and that has a little wood wick in there. So we have a travel tin. I forget how many ounces. 4 ounces. It says right there. 4 ounces. Soy wax, wood wick. All right, look at that. I would light this up right now, but I can never, when I do these shows, I can never burn scented candles, because I'm always doing sensory evaluation. I want to save all of these papers. I love to recycle this stuff. Save the earth. Candle number 3, dryer vent. Now, when Angel, the proprietor of this company, reached out to me the first time, I think we had a conversation via email where she's like, what do you want me to send you? Like, what do you like? And I'm like, don't worry about what I like. Just send me what's interesting. And I definitely pointed out this one, dryer vent, because it takes a couple seconds for you to process that information. Like, dryer vent. Is this going to smell like lint? And then you're like, oh, wait a minute, no. What about the dryer sheets? I don't know what this smells like. But that, you ever like walk by a vent outside where it's pumping out the exhaust of the dryer, and it's just like that really warm cloud of, I guess it's steam. Oh my God. I'm happy this is not just a fabric sheet. I mean, it smells like a fabric sheet. Like, it doesn't smell like the clothes. Your clothes that are folded and you put them in your drawer, hang them up. This smells like the actual dryer sheet. It has that very distinct smell of the whatever that sheet's made out of, that fibrous cloth. But the first thing I thought of when I smelled this was the laundromat. It's so strange. I'm trying to think of why specifically laundromat and not just a dryer sheet. I guess it's because it's got that sudsy, soapy quality as well. So it's not just the fabric softener. Fabric softeners, 9 out of 10, if not 10 out of 10. Let's face it. Fabric softeners are always, rather, I guess they can be unscented, but you always see them scented with two things: florals and citrus. I say this all the time. It's the fragrance industry's language. It's citrus and florals is it's supposed to evoke clean, fresh air. And so this does smell like a heavier flannel shirt that's been through the dryer. But it has that soapy, sudsy quality as well. And what I really appreciate, because some fabric softeners drive me nuts, is that there's a, at least smelling this cold, there's a higher level of citrus here that kind of sits on top of the florals. So it's not a big jasmine, lavender, one note kind of fragrance. You know, it has the softness of the florals, the summer country, the country laundry room smell, that the dried lavender, violets, but it's really brightened up with lemon lime. Very cool. That might sound silly to some, like if I said that I would like a laundromat candle, but I think there's something to be said there. Like I mean, maybe not a dirty laundromat, right? We've all been in those, but I've been in some really nice laundromats. And how often do we see candles that are meant for our laundry room? Now, I don't have a big laundry room. It's just a functioning laundry room. But I know friends who have quite spacious laundry rooms that are all decked out with interior design, all that country goodness. So this could be a great candle for the laundry room, but you could use this in the bedroom to just make it always seem like you have fresh clothes. Like, you know, like if you're like me and you wait too long and you don't have t-shirts to wear, well, you can burn this candle to create the feeling like, oh, I was responsible and I did my laundry. I like that. Now, every day you see a laundry room candle, but burn that in the kitchen if you'd want. This is beyond me. Okay, I'm just trying not to read the fragrance notes, but I don't know what this is. Check this out. They're little cubes. They look like it's tea time, and I want to drop a little block of sugar. So this is so great. They're little, I'm guessing, tiny little wax cubes to drop in your melter. And I can already right off the bat think of why this would be helpful, because there's a second jar right here of them, and this could allow you to do a little bit of mixology with, one, not wasting too much wax, but also experiment. So this one right here, and let me tell you, it smells like lemon. It is called, excuse my language, folks, fresh arse. Can I use arse? No, we'll say fresh ass lemon. This candle right here. Crisp lemon and a touch of cream. Oh yeah, I mean, it's, I was just burning Yankee's Sicilian lemon for a long time. I had that thing going for like a day and a half, and so I am so primed for a lemon right now. And but this is different because it's that lemon essence, the oil inside the zest, which smells like, don't let this turn you off if you don't like it. A lot of people have negative associations, but it does kind of bridge that lemon pledge aroma that lemon oil always does. So like furniture polish, lemon, but it also has that lemon verbena herbaceousness. And I always describe lemon verbena as like lemon Fruit Loops or Trix breakfast cereal. And creamy for sure. Add 10 to 12 cubes to your warmer, not for human consumption. It's funny that she said that, because looking at it, you almost do want to eat it. Keep away from kids and pets. I can never get too much lemon. Deep forest pine right there. Oh yeah. So cedar, dried cedar. Okay. So when you go into boutiques, gift shops, and tourist areas, think about the gift shop that maybe it's older fashioned, but they have a lot of products for sale they're made out of cedar or maybe pine. Like the slingshot. I remember, I always, since as a kid, I would go to Lake George, and they always sell like furniture boxes, toys, little rubber band guns or slingshots, picture frames or pictures that are actually like epoxied on top of slices of wood. These stores that have all of these wooden cedar products, and that's kind of what this smells like, because you get the pine needle and the pine branches, but for me it's really that dried cedar that is the highlight. This is if you're looking for a pine candle that is not Christmas, and you want something, I want pine, but I don't want it to smell like a Christmas candle. I want pine to remind me of camping in the summertime. That's definitely one option, that's for sure. I'm gonna put this fan on, guys. It is a warm day in New York. I'll try to turn my microphone a little bit. And I need to take a sip of water. It's good. That's good. How we all doing? Let me check in with you folks down here. Yankee needs to improve their fragrance oils. Not as strong as they used to be. And we have Leslie Pethybridge of Silver Moon Candle Company in with us. Hello, Leslie. Someone needs to create smell-o-vision. Well, I'm doing the best I can. There's a lot of products in here. Oh, good Lord. Well, this is good. I mean, because so far, so good. These all smell amazing. Of course, I haven't burned anything, but at least this has to be a large selection of what is on the website. Look at the name of this one. We have another travel tent, 4 ounces. And this one is called Vintage Perfume. Ooh. Is this gonna smell like Nan? It definitely doesn't smell like Nan or Nani or Grandma, whatever you call your grandmother. Ooh, this really reminds me of something. Another candle, believe it or not. This is a really, really pretty citrusy, floral, resinous smell. If you are of the Salem witchy aesthetic, and I say that because although this is different, it's definitely reminding me of a candle by Coventry Creations called Witch's Purse. And I described that candle. Of course, it's called Witch's Purse. And I love that concept because what would we find inside of a witch's purse? I would imagine the witch would go around the cemetery, right, and steal. This is an evil witch, right? Steal all of the flowers that were left for all of the people in their final resting place, and she stuff all of this bouquet after bouquet of flowers into her purse, but they would stay there and they would mingle. And inside of a purse, it's funny how inside of a purse, you would have like some kind of slightly pretty, or not slightly pretty, slightly medicinal, very pretty lozenge. Like some kind of minty eucalyptus thing. I can imagine like a witch going in and digging out a little sticky lozenge from her purse. I'm not trying to make this sound like it's a spooky candle. It's very pretty. I'm just using this other candle as an example. And it's very musky, but in an undeniably feminine way. I mean, feminine is always going to be a subjective thing, but in the world of perfumes and colognes, this is definitely something that reminds me of, I would say vintage, but definitely not matronly or like grandmother, right? This is not like, don't have that association. This is just kind of a perfume. It's exactly what it is, vintage perfume, a perfume of generations past. I like it. Uh-oh. Frankie with stitches. That's got to be Frankenstein. Let's save that. I'm not sure what that is. Halibinum? I see a snake on there. What am I missing? What was I not taught in school? Spicier. Spicy? Musky? Wooden? But still resinous. This has... these candles really, not all of these candles like this, really just, it's so hard for me. If we've ever smelled a dragon's blood candle, a dragon's blood is organic matter from indigenous red plants from Asia. Maybe there's frankincense and myrrh in here as well. Yeah, that's definitely what it is. I at least the frankincense and myrrh, whenever I say one, I'm just going to say them both because I've gotten that wrong too many times. The frankincense and myrrh, the myrrh I smell because you get that root beer barrel thing. And it's dark and dusty, but I'm getting that wooden citrusy note that we find from frankincense. I'm not sure what the name is there. Hopefully in the chat area someone can do a little research, or maybe somebody knows. That is nice. That's another... I have to come up with a term that means this is of a gothic... I don't want to call it Gothic, because you could say New Age, you could say Salem, you could say, certain churches. This is of a mystical, whimsical, magical. This kind of smells like a magic shop. That's another thing I used to say. It has that smell of somewhere that was burning incense, whether that be a Grateful Dead tribute band concert, or if you're in Woodstock, New York, and go into the gift shops. That one's very nice. I'm a little bit overwhelmed in a good way. Black coffee. Whew, I've been doing lots of black coffee. Leslie's in the house, so I hope she hears this. I just burned Leslie Silver Moon coffee candle, which I enjoyed thoroughly. It's topped with coffee. I also melted Washington Wicks coffee fragrance made with real 9-bar espresso coffee, coffee roaster out of Vancouver, Washington. And you've heard me say it hundreds of times. I'm always looking for like a super authentic coffee bean. Not always necessarily espresso coffee bean, because espresso is implying that it's historically at least, it's implying that it would be a darker roast. This definitely is authentic coffee bean, coffee shop, probably even more. It has that smell of maybe freshly roasted coffee, but freshly ground coffee, in the big hoppers that they have in the coffee shops. But there's still that nuttiness that is inherent in a coffee bean. Coffee beans can smell fruity, they can smell nutty, they can have, really wild nuances. So it has that nuttiness that you'd find in a coffee bean, but also think about all of the other nutty smells and aromas that we associate when we go into a coffee shop, right? You have, the pastries, you have the hazelnuts, creamers, and stuff like that. I don't need to list them over and over again. Even caramel, is, falls into that category of nutty. So it's sweet, it's nutty, and I would say, if I wouldn't bring this up with the candle, but if I were smelling coffee beans, I would say that this, if there were coffee beans in here, or coffee, fresh ground coffee, I would say that it has a little bit of sweetness on the nose. Or I shouldn't say sweetness, excuse me, fruitiness. I can't believe I just made that mistake. Fruitiness on the nose. But it is sweet. Black coffee. These are also in the cubes. This is what I mean. Why these cubes might be handy, right? Because let's say you wanted to create the smell. Like, let's say you're out camping, right? You're out camping deep in the forest, and you're making a pine tea that has some lemon, but you turn that tea into coffee. Okay, maybe not the best example, but you see what I'm saying, right? I don't think I'd ever put pine or lemon in my coffee. For a second there, I thought I was dealing with tea. Forgot what I was talking about. We have more. I'm just going to take everything out. I'm seeing a mug. This is incredible. Angel, thank you so much. I'm telling you, I deal with some of the nicest folks, these candle companies that go really out of their way to send me this stuff. And the more they send, you know what that means? The more giveaways we can do. Because let's face it, I'm seriously getting to the point where I'm receiving so many candles, I can't burn everything. What ends up happening is that just my shelves just keep stacking up candles. But this is good for you guys because we can do candle giveaways. So maybe if you are not already, follow me on Instagram. My handle is candle.enthusiast. In the description, you'll find that if you missed that. And also, make sure, if you're not already, swing by the Candle Enthusiast Facebook fan group because I always post announcements there. So we have 3 more left. We have Spice Tart. Yeah. So, I just want to make sure I get these spices right. Star anise, cinnamon. It's gotta say nutmeg. I could be wrong. Cinnamon, nutmeg, star anise. Let me stop there before I make a fool of myself. But there's this like honey glaze lemon tart. So if this was a spice tart, like a lemon tart, spice tart, that's probably a thing, right? That maybe I'm not familiar with, like a tart that's just got like tons of spices in it. But there's a lemon thing here too. Lemon and vanilla. It's cakey. Oh wait a minute. No. Yeah, lemon and baked apple. It's been so long since I've done autumn candles. I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna say lemon lime, but the base being like an apple tart that's heavily spiced. Yeah, I mean, if you don't you don't want to mess around, or you don't mess around when it comes to your spiced candles, this is a good one because not only is it spicy, but it's not just got one spice. We're dealing with something more along the lines of like a toasted spice mix, a masala chai thing, and the vanilla creaminess could maybe arguably be a milky thing. Maybe that's the way you'll register it in your mind. So I always like it when a sweet treat candle can kind of bridge. It can be the sweet treat, but it could also be a beverage. And I see no reason why this could not be a hot beverage during those very cool, cold days and nights in autumn. We'll see if we can find all the fragrance notes for these. So right here, Frankie. Short for Frankenstein. Frankenstein's monster. Double mint gum and wood. Let me think a little bit more. Double mint. What is double mint gum? It's double mint. It's got 2 mints. Is it mint? Like, what varieties of mint are in double mint gum? Does anyone know? Because I'm getting peppermint. Maybe even spearmint. Oh, but there's a wooden furniture thing here, which makes sense. Okay, wooden furniture and the slab. Frankenstein on the doctor's table. Frankincense? Frankincense. Come on, Shane, pull it together. Yeah. So I would say mint and frankincense. I'm guessing that's the concept. We'll see if I'm wrong. But frankincense and very, very sweet, again, like hard candy mintiness or chewing gum. It's just interesting because it really works. And to be honest with you, you'd think, for me, I would think that this would remind me of Christmas, but it doesn't necessarily. I would certainly burn this during Halloween. I think the reason why it doesn't necessarily remind me of Christmas, even though I said frankincense, is because it's not the kind of wood like a Christmas tree, Christmas wreath, or firewood kind of woodenness. It's that luxurious lemon nuanced wooden furniture kind of wood. I like it. And speaking of Frankenstein, oh man, she made this, didn't she? This is cool, guys. And there's something in it too. There's a candle in it. My lord, this is probably the coolest thing I've seen so far. I want to get the right lighting on this to make sure I'm doing this justice. So do you see what happened here? I thought for a moment when I just saw it out of the corner of my eye, oh, there's a Frankenstein mug, a ceramic Frankenstein mug. No, this is, what is this? Is this a polyurethane? So this is a sculpted face of the Frankenstein's monster that's painted with this metallic green paint and then washed, I'm guessing washed with a black paint on top of that, just to give you this green luster that shines. I wish I could get like a super close-up, but we know how this camera does. And the way she's attached it to the mug right there, yeah. Oh, yes. Yes. It smells like a candle. Well, yeah. Whatever. There's nothing poisonous in candles, right? Oh, yeah. That's cool, right? I wonder if that is for sale on the website. I'm sorry I'm taking so much time with that, but that is, I really, really enjoy that. Oh, man. I want to show that to my dad. And there was a candle inside, so you can burn the candle in it first and then repurpose the mug afterward. And this smells it's the coffee fragrance. What was it called? What was her coffee fragrance called? It's called Black Coffee. I could tell right away it's that black coffee. Perhaps this is a harder wax, so it may not be, but it can burn inside that mug. Oh man, this is fun. This is fun, and I love the travel sizes too, because this is great for. Part of me thinks it's great for, for giving gifts. So you're not buying people large candles. Plus, whenever I ship someone a candle, it's always a pain to ship a huge chunk of glass or sending something like this, I mean, it's never going to break. It's metal. But also from a business standpoint, these are great for subscription boxes. Candle of the Month Club. I have the Candle Enthusiast subscription box. You can find information down in the description below. But I've been doing this for 3 years, 3.5 years. I can't even keep track now. But that's kind of what I've started doing. I'm putting more candles. I have folks who subscribe to the subscription boxes, obviously, and once a month I kind of curate a box with candle companies that I work with, and I've been doing many more of these instead of large candles, because this way it feels like a subscription box, but it also is something where someone will contact me and say, you know, my $35 candle just smashed in the mail. It's the last thing I ever want to hear. Now, I want to make sure that I got everything. So real quick, let's sum this up. Spiced tart. We had, to my knowledge, a very spicy apple with a little bit of citrus, frankincense on the Frankie with big time like double mint gum, peppermint minty sweetness, black coffee. Definitely will remind you of a cup of black coffee, a nostalgic cup of coffee too. You know, like if you're a Dunkin' Donuts person, that's Dunkin' Donuts has always been a solid medium plus roasted coffee. It has like those nuances of cherry and a little bit higher acidity, but it had a little bit of nuttiness and some caramel in there as well. Deep forest pine. For me, this is not something that's going to, in my mind, evoke the winter or Christmas season. It makes me think of hiking in the summertime, camping in the summertime in the Catskill Mountains or the Berkshire Mountains or the Adirondack Mountains. We had the watermelon candy with the wooden wick, which was like a Jolly Rancher, a taffy Jolly Rancher. The fresh ass lemon, big lemon experience. Oh, and the lemon verbena, and a little bit of that Fruit Loops thing, which I like. The vintage perfume, really nice, rounded out florals, not of a gentle nature, but the florals that we associate with perfumes. Jasmine and maybe lily, maybe some gardenia in there. That's a powerful one. And I'm just butchering the name. Halubinum. Halubinum? Halubinum. This is probably something everybody knows except for me. And I'm forgetting what it is. Oh, it's that... it smells a little bit more spicy this time, but that churchy, new age, resinous candle with a little bit of maybe dragon's blood. Horrible. And the frankincense, or not the frankincense, the myrrh was in there. The dryer vent, which I'm telling you, I hope this is a popular one. I don't know. I would love to have a conversation with Angel to find out, because I bet you if she goes to markets and people get to smell all of these in person, I bet you this is a big seller, because the concept, dryer vent, because you could easily call this like, laundry basket, laundry room window, laundry breeze. You can call it all those things, but I think calling it dryer vent is a fun name. And it does diverge a little bit from just a classic dryer sheet. It has that soapy laundry room thing, or laundromat thing. And sexy breath. was the peppermint. Did I say anything else? I like it. I like it. There's got to be probably something else in there. Oh, French vanilla bean. There, you know, the French vanilla bean, like Bath and Body Works, French vanilla bean, not vanilla bean anything else. The French vanilla bean. That fragrance, that type of vanilla will be burned in my head forever. And I think I've told that story many times. Because when Bath and Body Works first came around, when I was in grade school, the girls would go nuts spraying this stuff on themselves and on the school bus. And we had the Slimer Tangerine sculpted wax melt. And there was something inside, which I can now read this. It's the wax okay, all the container candles are pure soy wax. So all of the container wax, 100% soy. The cubes and any other molded items are paraffin soy blends. That makes sense, because if this was all soy, it would be like, it'd be getting all over my hand, right? And this would not hold its shape really well. The mug is a one and only, and is the and so is the candle included inside. You can use it as a mug. Just be sure to hand wash only, and don't put your mouth on Frankie's face. But this is the coffee fragrance, is it not? I have a couple pages on the website with all my scent descriptions. I know you like to guess, so here's some quick descriptions of what's in your box. Oh, there's fragrance notes right here. The halibunum, frankincense, myrrh, patchouli. I don't like it when I miss patchouli, and cedarwood. That does make sense though. And the Frankie, which I said was frankincense, is Nagachampa. But what is Nagachampa? Isn't Nagachampa? Help me out here. I know you guys know this. It's frankincense and something else, right? Is it frankincense and sandalwood? It's a mixture of something. So Frankie's mint and Nagachampa, spice tart, lemon, yes, cinnamon, clove, coriander seed, and no apple. So this is telling you how when I say candles connect the dots. I could have swore there was more than just lemon in there. I actually shot and I said apple. But it's the associations we have, or at least I have, with the cinnamon, the clove. I said star anise, but I can see how I mixed those up. They're not similar, but I just mixed it up. Sexy breath is mint and vanilla. All right. The Slimer guy is close to Ecto Cooler. Yes, I didn't even say the name of the drink. I forgot to say the name of the drink. It said it was a high C, or did I say Ecto Cooler? It's as close to Ecto Cooler as I can remember. So it definitely is pretty close, especially if you didn't know it was tangerine. Watermelon candy, sweet watermelon and whipped cream. Yes. I went with a little bit more of a Jolly Rancher, but I think that whipped cream that I talked about is where I was going with the taffy thing. And the pop can pillar. What is the pop can pillar? This? Oh, yeah, because it's made in a soda can. I'm learning so much here. It's coffee and chocolate cake. And I definitely see that. Oh man, that's going to be a fun one to burn. So, burn something candles. No joke, guys. You know I'm super positive. You know I'm always, it's hard to get me to be cynical and say anything bad about people's artwork and stuff. But I did thoroughly enjoy everything I smelled. So if anything listed that I've talked about, anything interests you, make sure you swing over and just support. Come on, this is the mission. Support small business, more specifically, small batch candle companies. The mission of the Candle Enthusiast, before it even existed, was always about, let's highlight some more artisanal candles, some artists who are making candles, and not just candles that are being made in the hundreds of thousands. So make sure you swing over to Instagram, give them a follow, tell them I sent you. That always helps. But check out the website. We can do that right now, and then we'll move on to some more unboxings. But I will be, this is the deal. I will be doing more content on candles like these. I won't be making a video or an in-depth analysis on everything. But I will share them on Instagram, and I will burn a bunch of these, and I'll choose a few products to highlight and get them in an edited video. And this is good that we're doing this spooky stuff now, because we're getting ahead of the schedule for the Halloween season. I love my Frankenstein mug, and she said this was a one of a kind. I'm sorry if that's annoying, but I like it. The sounds, I mean. All right, let's check out. Let's check out the website, shall we? Transition. I don't like that. Do you? I don't. Desktop with me. Yeah, this is better. Okay, yeah, I just want to make sure I have that right. Let's go to the website right here. Burn Something Candles. So we have the catalog of products, scent descriptions, more scent descriptions, incense scent descriptions, and even more scent descriptions. All right. So we have candles, but we also have air fresheners. I'm trying to see what that is. Are those like little wooden medallion coins? Gnome Home Incense Burner. So remember, these sculptures, are made, are sculpted by Angel, which adds another personal touch. Wax cubes, only $6 for those wax cubes. And what on earth is this candle? Smile, you son of a bee. That looks like a Jaws inspired candle. I'll have to take a look at that later. We have 2 ounces wax cube refill. Woodwick candle, $8.50. And let's zoom out. So hand-rolled incense, so a lot of incense options. So I certainly need to learn more about the art of incense burning. I'm always saying I'm going to do it, but I haven't. But this guy right here, so if you saw the thumbnail to this video, this is it's an incense burner, but it's inspired by a 1980s horror film called Ghoulies. And this character and this image was infamously like on the cover of this film, which was in every video rental store from the day it came out till the day video rental stores closed. And if we go over to Instagram, the reason why I know she has that is because I did check out her Instagram page. And I just want to show you this thing in action. Check this out. This was so impressive. Again, this is sculpted. I don't know what she's using. I don't know if these are coming out of molds. Got some kids laughing in the background, but look at that. So the incense smoke pours out of the toilet bowl. That's something I think is pretty darn cool. Cool enough where I had to include that on the thumbnail of this video. So yeah, one last time, Burn Something Candles, that's going to be their handle on Instagram. Swing on over, but also burnsomethingcandles.com to browse other products and to find out pricing and fragrance notes a little bit more in depth, and all of their incense products. So let me pull you guys up. I feel like I'm giving too much social distancing here. We do have Angel in the house. I did not even see that. Angel, welcome and thank you for everything. This was so much fun, and not only do I love the candles, but I sincerely adore this mug. I think I've made that clear by now. Can I get one more close-up? One more? All right. That Frankie air freshener is cool, yes. They look like they're little wooden chips, medallions. I think I need to go and look and take a closer look. But, and Leslie saying, kind of repeating, or echoing, I should say, what I said. Heck yes, we small batch companies need your support. I know I speak for companies. I know I speak for Nikki, Angel, and myself. Yes, I mean, it's just not only is small business important, especially times right now, but if we are self-proclaimed candle enthusiasts, we really need to do what we can to just share the support and encourage artists to do what they do. A little, message on Instagram here and there can like make or break an artist's day. Or I shouldn't say make or break. It can make an artist's day. Just one nice compliment. Trust me. When someone leaves a comment on my video and it's just like overly, like they don't need to be this nice. They don't need to be being that kind to me. But when they do, it's very well received and very much needed, especially during times where, you're trying to get things done, and like this spring, trying to get things done, and everything kind of falls through. But we're going to pick up the pieces. And we got Alex with a super chat. Thanks so much, Alex, with the $2 or excuse me, £2 super chat. Alex is the proud owner. I hope he's proud, but he is the owner of Witch City Wicks Sleepy Hollow candle. He really wanted to get his hands on one, and he found it. I think he got Black Bat as well. But thank you very much, Alex, for the super chat. It means more than you know. Where is it? There it is. What else? What else? Let's start unboxing other things, shall we? We have this guy, a little box. I think I know what this is, but you know, I think the gentleman, Paul, did reach out to me and tell me he was going to send me something. But you know, things are so crazy, and it seems like even yesterday was so long ago. All right, look at this. I got to get the other camera angle here. And I think I can turn this fan off if that's annoying anybody. I only do that only when I need to. Let's get a little bit more light. Smoky Hollow Company. Oh, and the name. Stay Home Forever. I know that's going to get soft. But this looks like, what, an 8-ounce candle? Smoky Hollow Candle Company, Stay Home Forever. Something, whoa! Something a lot of us are doing these days. That could possibly be the sourest candle I've ever smelled. Now, you can't smell sour. It's hard to do these things, and because I have to repeat myself because I don't want people to think. I don't want people to think that you can smell sour. I have to repeat. It's a perceived sour. But yeah, when you smell this, oh my God, what? It's like straight up malic acid, citric acid. Super fruity. Orange candy, lemon lime. It's just, it's like citrus juice for days. A little bit of that lemon pledge thing, so maybe some zest. Wow, this is... I'm trying to... Is there a note in the box? This is amazing. So I can't remember, Paul. Yes, I think I do. I couldn't remember if Paul was sending me a candle from... that he enjoys, or if he actually is the creator of the candle. And I think he's the creator, and I apologize. But this is, I love citrus. That is for darn sure. Smoky with an E, Smoky Hollow Company, and their Etsy page, smokyhollowco.store. And Instagram is going to be Smoky Hollow Co. Again, Smoky with an E, but all of this information will be down in the description below. This is insanely tart. Like it's like a citrus fruit punch, because maybe there's a little bit of this like pomegranate, red fruit juice, cherry juice. And it does have that zest, because there's a little bit of the spice and there's a little bit of that lemon essence that I was talking about before. And right there. It was right there. I can't read it. Mandarin, lemon, and grapefruit. I really thought there would be something else because it does seem very complex. But I don't think I've ever seen anything like that before. If that's truly what this candle is made out of, just 3 citrus notes. That is definitely a different approach. You know, there's nothing floral in here. There's no wooden notes. There's no nothing that would make me say like warm, like amber or incense, and certainly no spice. That's the best way I can describe it, is a citrus fruit punch. And I do get a little bit of red fruit juice. You know, it could just, maybe it's like a ruby red grapefruit thing where I'm getting that. But, if Paul told me that there was some pomegranate or cherry juice in here, grenadine maybe, I would totally buy it. Maybe even some juniper berry, because juniper berry and pomelo, the variety of grapefruit, I think it's a variety of grapefruit. I think that's how it breaks down. But pomelo has that juniper berry citrus note to it. Thank you so much, Paul. Smoky Hollow. I wonder what the inspiration is there. I will give this a burn, and I will post this on my Instagram page, and I'll let all of you guys know how that went. I'm going to put that there so it doesn't get mixed up with the others. And his business card. We got more to open. And Mags with the $2 super chat. Hello, Maggie and Faith. Hello. Hello from Maggie and Faith. We love your videos. Thank you so much. See what I mean? Small little gesture of kindness. Those few words. It means a lot, I'm telling you. So thank you for the support. And I hope that you guys will join me in supporting small business. What am I opening up here? I don't even know. I just know that there's so much to open. I know what this is because I can smell it. So, I think it was 2 shows ago. It may have been the last show. I can't remember now, but somebody asked me which Yankee candle was very emotional for me, brought me back to childhood, something along those lines. The question was phrased something like that. And I spoke about Yankee Candle's Eucalyptus because I think it's a candle that they don't have on the shelves anymore, but it was there for the longest time. I mean, really, since... I think the oldest versions of it I've seen is at least the late 80s. So it's always been something I felt that was beyond just eucalyptus. It smells like eucalyptus, but there's other things going on. And eucalyptus is so much more relevant, I feel like, now, because everyone experiences eucalyptus, whether it's in Bath and Body products, whether it's in... eucalyptus teas, but this is something that that the show, whenever that was, oh my God, inspired me to do. This is an unlit Yankee Black Band of eucalyptus. I find that, I need to have, the most special black band, the most special fragrances by Yankee Candle. I need to get them in the black bands if they are available. Some of them are not, the fragrances aren't that old, but this is definitely one. I'm just kind of bummed that people just don't talk about it more, and it's a very nostalgic scent for me, and it's almost hard for me to wrap my mind around why. I bet you there's several memories deep inside in here that I can't even recall, but this candle is trying to find it. It's trying to pull out that memory, and eucalyptus, no adjectives needed. Well, I think it's supposed to be straight up eucalyptus, but obviously it's been fortified. Let's go with that word. Fortified with other nuances, other herbal notes to help it pop. Have some citrus notes, lime, to make it give it those brighter top notes. It's musky, it has a soapiness to it that if you love eucalyptus soap, musky in a way that reminds me a lot of like a barbershop, but very citrusy, musky, maybe even slightly wooden eucalyptus approach. And this smells exactly how I think it should, which is great, because that means the recipe hasn't changed over the years, but also that this candle, which was poured in 2003, has held up for 17 years. That's going on the shelf. The Yankee Wall of Flame. Speaking of Wall of Flame, at the conclusion of all my videos, not the live videos, but edited videos, have you ever wondered what this is? I did a card here. And excuse me, this card is not updated, but this Wall of Flame title card is at the conclusion of all of my edited videos, and it's these are just folks who have shown ongoing support. And if you want to get your name on there, if you want to get your business on there, if you want to get your social media handle on this card, the best thing to do is follow that Patreon link in the description below, and it'll take you to kind of the tier reward system for pledges and donations. Again, just another way to help fund future videos. Again, these donations and pledges and subscription boxes and t-shirts, none of this goes into anything other than the Candle Enthusiast own checking account. It's money that's raised not for candles, not for products that I'm showing you guys. It goes towards the expenses of the travel videos. And the support, unfortunately, very bad timing with the way things are. But the truth is, the support is very much needed this year. We're going to make it happen one way or the other. But consider buying a t-shirt. Oh yeah. Last week I did a Yankee Candle Halloween haul. I took most of my Yankee candles, Halloween Yankee candles, and I kind of just did this massive haul. And I didn't do all of them because I have the same candle from, in some cases, 12, like Witch's Brew, maybe even more. But this one I did not have, and I'm showing it to the wrong camera. And I finally got it. Toxic Tonic. Now, this name is something that, you've seen not too long ago, in 2016, there was a candle called Toxic Tonic. It was a swirl candle of forbidden apple and spiced pumpkin, I believe. And then the year after, they did forbidden apple and sweet seduction. So we've seen the green, orange swirl candle, Halloween candles before, but this is a different candle. This one was released initially, I think, in 2012, and it's a swirl candle, and it's not forbidden apple, it's Granny Smith, and can you read that? Vanilla pumpkin. There's a lot of these that are confusing, like there's frosted pumpkin, a lot of now retired ones. Vanilla pumpkin. Wow, that's I'm saying wow too much today, but I can't help it. That's kind of like spiced pumpkin. It's kind of like that spiced pumpkin forbidden apple. But I'll tell you what's different. I really smell the pumpkin, and I smell a richer molasses. Like a gingerbread cookie without the gingerbread, or without the ginger. Oh, it's like tart and savory, which is weird, right? Tart and savory. Big green apple. It's for being an old candle, it's still pretty bright. I'm showing it to the wrong camera. The colors have muted, that your eyes don't deceive you. Like the green has, maybe it just looked that way. I don't know. This wasn't pulled out of an outlet. It's a 2012, and we have a little creepy crawler right there. And the other fragrances were released in counterparts of this. I think it was called Black Cauldron, which was the Witch's Brew. Maybe it was the Happy Halloween Black Licorice. I can't remember, but there was the Black Cauldron, and then there may have been a candy corn equivalent as well. But I did not own this candle, and I needed to get it. I actually purchased that candle while doing a live 2 weeks ago. Picked up my phone, and I'm like, excuse me for a second, and I won the auction. $6.99. $6.99. We got more stuff. And then I should talk about this now, just in case anyone has a question. I'm ending all of these live streams with a Q&A, and the way you participate with this is go over to the Candle Enthusiast Facebook group. Let me just show you real quick, and every week before I go live, I post the thing here. The thumbnail is the word I'm looking for, of the video, and it's a place where you can leave all of your questions, comments, anything is relevant. It doesn't have to pertain to this week's video, live video. So we have lots of questions to read. It looks like 16. So if you have one, you can swing over there now and do that. But before we do, let's get back to the camera. All right. I told you guys I was trying to do a little bit more, trying to expand on other products to evaluate other than just candles. And like, let's face it, like I can't evaluate candies and sodas, but I wanted to keep it fun, and I wanted to keep it, in the world of aroma. And it's not like I haven't thought of this before, but it's just recently it's been something that's really interested me. Bar soaps, like small production, moderate production, big production, whatever they may be, but of the healthier, I should say healthy, more organic realm. None of those like scary ingredient lists. So I've been trying a bunch of companies that you guys have been suggesting through the Facebook group, and I'm just going to show you a couple of these. And I just can't say enough. I mean, I really am no soap enthusiast, but if you're looking to really just change things up, something, get excited about, get your aromatic fix outside of just candles, this company right here has been killing it. Bearsville Soap Company, out of the Catskills in New York, the Catskill region, I should say. And these soaps are 5 ounces. They're monstrous. They're nothing fancy. They're not being pulled out of a mold in the shape of a ladybug or something like that. Not that that's bad, but I want to pay for high quality soap that smells really good. I don't really want to pay for something that looks really whimsical. And I've gone through, I think, about four bars of this company's products, and they've all been amazing. This one right here, if these definitely are geared towards men, these scents, but anyone could use them. I think this one would be, it's got to be a fan favorite. It's called Woodland Musk. It smells like a tree, but it has what you would expect in, like Old Spice. It has that masculine cologne aroma, but really, enhanced by those organic smells of being outside in the forest. Sandalwood Vanilla. I haven't tried this one yet. Just came in the mail. I'm not going to take them all out of the boxes. Tobacco Flower. This one is insanely good. Now remember, tobacco flower, tobacco, not the same thing, right? So it's a very distinct. I've never smelled tobacco flower, but I've smelled tobacco flower scented products, and it's a very, very pretty smell. They make things called scrub bars. Again, I might be talking like a novice here. I apologize. But highly exfoliating bars, like highly. There was one that I think it was called, I think they only made one run of it. It was called Arctic Coast. And it was just like, oh my God. Imagine if the Matterhorn in Disneyland had its own bar of soap. That's what that would have been. It was this highly mentholated, sweet candle, but it had like it felt like sand. I mean, it was so aggressively exfoliating, but because it was so mentholated, it felt like a little chunks of ice when you're, scraping it on the surface of your skin. And here's one of those scrub bars, Cedar Scrub. So I'm showing you this, and I never say bad anything about a company. I never would want to. So I'm not, don't take this in the wrong way. However, you know how some men are. I do this myself. If you're looking for soap, you're in Google, men's soap. Bam, you get a result, and you're done searching. I'm afraid that's happening for a lot of guys who are looking to buy quality soap. They're seeing advertisements, they're seeing sponsored ads. This company is the first thing that will pop up if you type in men's soap on Amazon.com. I've used these products. They're great. There's nothing wrong with it. But what I'm truly trying to highlight is that this is a massively popular company. I'm sure you've seen ads for Dr. Squatch. It's, again, soap geared towards men, but it's, also pushed towards women to buy for their man, and they're great products. However, in comparison, much smaller production company, and I like these better. I mean, I went through several of these. These last longer. They don't fall apart in your hand, right? I mean, I wasted like half a bar of soap because it crumbled in my hand. I'm not saying anything bad about Dr. Squatch, but what I'm saying is, remember, don't necessarily stop searching after you get the search result for Dr. Squatch. Keep going. Look on Instagram. Keep Googling for other companies producing men geared, or soap geared towards men, if that's what you're looking for. I'm not really into the whole idea of a soap company geared towards men specifically, but as I said, they don't push it too hard, where Dr. Squatch does. And with that said, I think men or women could use these and not be a problem. And this one is insane. This is still one I'm not brave enough to use. It's called Campfire Charcoal. So yes, it's a charcoal soap. Charcoal absorbs bad odors, but I'm guessing it also acts as an exfoliant. But it's scented like a campfire, and it smells like witch's cauldron. Like, no joke, like Kringle candles, witch's cauldron. It's a wet, smoky campfire experience. It smells super cool, and I can see the novelty in it. I'm still just not brave enough to use it. So a little shout out to Bearsville Soap Company, since they are in New York. I think I am going to shoot them an email one of these days after things calm down in the world a little bit, and see if they would be interested if I came up with my camera bag and we could do a video. That would be a lot of fun. I have another soap company video that I'll be posting on the main channel soon, to a very small production company. We talked about them a little while ago. Asia Luna. And Leslie Pathy Bridge, thank you so much. Leslie and I, Leslie was there for me since the very beginning of the Candle Enthusiast. And I can't say enough how much your friendship and your support and your generosity is just, it's insane. How I truly think I didn't realize how much kindness was out there in the world until I had a YouTube channel. It's insane. Thank you so much. That's a huge help. It's a huge, huge help. Trust me, especially this year, because I have so many great ideas, and a lot of them were already in motion, and now a lot of things are postponed, but everything will get done. And I still have confidence that it's still going to be the best year for the Candle Enthusiast. So let us go over to the Q&A and let's work on this list. Oh, God. It's kind of frightening. A lot of questions. Can you guys see me all right? Yeah. I just don't want that light gleaming in. Okay, Jenna says, where is one of your dream locations to film for the Candle Enthusiast channel, and why? One of my dream locations for the Candle Enthusiast, and why? I think this one qualifies. 2 years ago, went through a series of stages with someone who I collaborate with here on the Candle Enthusiast. I have a lot of folks who help me out, and this person in particular definitely helps me out a lot with phone calls and emails and stuff. But it was a lengthy process to get in contact with the folks who actually own the house from A Christmas Story. Yes, the movie A Christmas Story. Most films are shot, the exterior is on location, but the interiors are all shot on a sound stage, in like Los Angeles. This movie was really, A Christmas Story was a very low budget film. It was shot completely on location. So it was a practical set, meaning they filmed the entirety of the movie, or at least the entirety of the scenes that took place in the house that you see from the outside. I don't know if it's in Cleveland, Ohio, but it's close to. And we actually got through a lot of, you call one person, they send you here, then they send you there, they send you there. There's a lot of waiting involved. And then we got to the person we needed to speak to, and they said yes. But it just wasn't in the budget that year to spend the night. A couple nights, actually. It was going to be 2 nights in the Christmas Story house. And my take for that video wasn't just going to be like, oh, here we are at the Christmas Story house, and remember that scene or remember this scene. I wanted to make like a good old-fashioned throwback, like a 1980s, early 1990s Christmas TV special, the Candle Enthusiast Christmas TV special. I don't know when we would film it, if it was spring or summer. Still fake the snow, get the Christmas lights, wrap the gifts, set up the Christmas tree, and try to get get my brother, who's also a YouTuber and filmmaker, get a lot of other folks to come and be a part of this video and have almost like a phony little storyline that would be humorous. Like, I'm going to be alone for Christmas, but then magically my brother shows up at the last minute, the very stereotypical Christmas special things. So I had this whole thing scripted out, this whole idea planned, but it just wasn't in the cards, wasn't in the budget. I think I was dreaming a little too much, but that's not to say that it won't happen one of these days. So is that a dream location? Yeah. I mean, I think it's up there. I think it's a great idea, but for now, I think it's going to have to do. There's a lot of other places that I would love to take you guys. Thank you, Jenna. So Jeffrey Clark, what's the status of your Bigfoot adventures? Wow, that's a callback because I haven't mentioned that in a long time. So I told you that I was, maybe several times, but a long time ago, that I want to make a Bigfoot documentary. But again, how many Bigfoot documentaries, TV specials, Discovery Channel, Travel the last thing on earth we need is another, Bigfoot short subject documentary. However, I think there is something that could be done about, making a documentary about the towns where the Bigfoot is legendary, and talking to these people, trying to contact as many as they can, and see if we can find interesting people. When I say interesting, that's a very broad, a broad word to be using. Try to find interesting people that I can really have discussions with when it comes to Bigfoot, and see if they have any recommendations for me, because I'm going to portray myself as someone who's determined to find Bigfoot and go out in the Pacific Northwest in a funny hat, and I'm really going to do I'm going to take the instructions of these folks, of what it's going to take to find Bigfoot. And who knows, maybe I'll find Bigfoot. We'll see. There honestly, that hopefully we'll be doing more West Coast videos, but that one is it's a slightly different beast. So maybe before we have a Bigfoot mini documentary, there'll be a shorter video on Bigfoot if I'm in those specific regions of the country. Thank you, Jeffrey. Karen says, have you ever spent the night in a cemetery? And if not, would you? I love that you guys would just assume that I'm the type of person to spend a night in a cemetery. I haven't spent the night. I certainly would, if as long as I wasn't breaking a law or trespassing. I don't know what I would do without light. I mean, I could use a flashlight, but it's an interesting concept. I can't say that it is something I've thought about before, but it's really more of what's the idea? Like what am I doing? Am I just ghost hunting? There's got to be a bigger nugget of an idea. So Karen, if you have an idea, and more importantly, if anyone knows a way to get permission to stay in a cemetery overnight, and that a way we could do it that would be respectful, let me know. Reach out, because, yeah, I'm not about to start knocking on doors and saying, "Can I spend the night in the cemetery?" I don't think I'm going to get yeses. I don't think people are going to understand that my intentions are only but positive. Thanks, Karen. Laura says, which scents do you think are underused and which do you think are overused? Scents in general and or scents from specific companies? Well, I think we all can say pumpkin spice is something that is arguably overdone. Pine, Christmas tree, let's say Christmas tree candles are overdone. But I found peace in that because I think that people, they need to see that every year, and they don't necessarily want the same product every year. They want it. They want it repackaged. They want a different spin on it. They want something fun. So although I very rarely get around to actually burning like a straight up pumpkin spice candle during autumn. I do burn several Christmas tree candles for tradition during the holidays. But underused, well, I think that the eucalyptus was a perfect example. I think that there's so much attention on these candle companies that have been around for so long on what are the new products, what are the new ones, what are the new things, what are they going to look like, what are they going to smell like. That, and I think Yankee really fits into this category the best, and the really maybe it's the only one that it fits into this category. But there's so many classics that have stood the test of time and they're on the shelves. And yet people are still looking for new candles. They always go to buy the new candles. And I'm guilty of that as well. Here's the thing. I don't always burn them, but I own the classics, the treasures. So I think the problem that Yankee could do to fix this is just remind people, hey, you know what? Harvest, this candle Harvest, it's a simple name, it's a simple picture, but this candle has been around for the majority of Yankee Candle's history. It's here for a reason. It's because it stood the test of time. Same thing with spiced pumpkins. Same thing with honeydew melons. Same thing with Midsummer's Night. These aren't just, candles that have been around a couple years. They've been a part of the candle's history. So maybe the next time you go into Yankee Candle, instead of looking for, the new collections, check out some of those and do some research, if you have to, on some of the ones that have been around a long time. And I promise you, some of them will shock you. I know there's some on the shelves that you would be like, oh my God, is it really that old? Has it been around that long? Yeah, there's a lot of candles that seem like they're newish, but are really, in some cases older than I am. So, great question. Thanks, Laura. Amanda says, where is your dream haunted location to film? Haunted. Okay, this is a good one. Yeah, this is a good one. It's hard to call it a dream because it sounds terrifying. I don't really want to do it, but I know it would make for an amazing video. The ambiance, the tone, the footage would be gorgeous. When the video's over, Google Execution Rock and New York or Long Island. I think it's between Sand Point and New Rochelle in the Long Island Sound, like just right on the border of those two towns. There's a lighthouse that's it's completely isolated on the water, and it's called Execution Rock. And the light tower is, I mean, God knows how old. It's hundreds of years old, and there's a house next to it. And there's a bunch of stories about how it got the name Execution Rock. I mean, it's probably because it's a very rocky territory, and boats, they especially low tide, they can't come through. But it's kind of like the urban legend. Maybe it's true, maybe it's a myth, who knows? But that they would put British prisoners, chain them to during low tide when the rocks were like icebergs above the water. They would chain these prisoners to these rocks, and then when the tide would come in, it would, submerge them into the water and drown them. Horrifying, if that's true. Horrifying. But this lighthouse, or specifically the house that's right next to it, in order for them to raise the funds they need to fully restore the lighthouse, they're allowing people to spend the night. It's $300 a night to spend the night in this location. And they also do tours if you're not looking to spend the night for $75. If you're ever in that northern area of Long Island. It sounds really creepy. I just don't know how I would do it. A video, it would take several days. I mean, I couldn't do it with other guests there. It's just a small little house, very modest too, like a bed and a table. There's no like turn down service or anything like that. So, but I just think you think of like John Carpenter's The Fog, the horror films of in the lighthouse. It would be such a dream to photograph a video for me. I would love to do that despite all of the rough conditions. So Execution Rock. Thank you, Amanda. Rachel says, any plans for the summer? Do you go camping or anything like that? Plans for the summer. Well, when does the summer begin? Ever since, college ended, summer kind of began in late April to me. Spring is really, it's non-existent in my calendar. It goes from winter to summer. It's like days where it snows and days where it doesn't. I don't know. That's the way I perceive it. So it's just a matter of when's the, everything getting back to normal. I don't go camping. I want to go camping. A lot of my ideas of getting out and doing things in the summer are video related. I mean, that's not a joke. That's not a bluff. I mean, I had planned to go to Santa's Village, the theme park in New Hampshire, like I do every year, but I wanted to do it in the summer this year because how many times can I go in the winter? I want to keep it fresh. It's a summer park, so I was going to do that, which was going to put me in a very beautiful, picturesque place in the White Mountains of New Hampshire, very close to Maine. So that's still on the agenda. It's just when that's going to happen. So also West Coast, I'm going to be in Los Angeles. Hopefully this Napa Valley thing will happen. But again, I plan all of my trips around the idea of creating videos on the main channel, the Candle Enthusiast. That is not a lie. Go camping. I would love to go camping. You need to go with like friends though, right? And people like who know what they're doing. Camping. I would just mess everything up. Thanks, Rachel. Michelle says, I wonder if Yankee Candle Village will even have the Halloween event. Some states like Rhode Island gave summer-long rules already. Yeah, I think that's something we'll know sooner rather than later. I mean, even the closer thing is like semi-annual sale. That's always a time I'm up at the Yankee Candle Village every year, doing some collection of videos at the Yankee Candle Village. So we'll see. I hope they have it. If they don't, that's my anniversary of the Candle Enthusiast. That was the first second of video I ever shot for the main channel, was the Halloween preview party in 2016. So that would be sad if they cancel it. Maybe I'd still go up and celebrate Halloween in the parking lot. Thanks, Michelle. Ray says, who won the Lunar Light Candle Company's Mummy's Tomb candle. Ray, I hope you're enjoying that. What candle is what is a candle a company tried to pass off as a Halloween scent that you love, but had to declare shenanigans on it being spooky or Halloween at all? So a candle company that's selling something promoted to be Halloween, and I know what Ray's going for here. I think it was supposed to be for Halloween, but it's really not. It's just the packaging is Halloween. Well, I can say this without any shame. Bath and Body Works, correct me if I'm wrong, they do that every year, right? They'll do like Dracula's blood, but it just smells like fruit punch. Or I can't even think of any other examples. They put out Halloween jars, but they're really just everyday fragrances. So there's that. I think last year, Yankee Candle's Haunted Hayride kind of fell into that category. I mean, I don't see how that's different than something like Tranquil Mist, that was another atmospheric candle that Yankee Candle put out the year before. Or even something like Sweet Nothings, which was also the year before. But it's not to say that I didn't like it. I think every candle company does it. And I think the reason is because some people just don't have nostalgia for Halloween. Or some people have nostalgia for Halloween, but they don't like pumpkin spice, and they don't like candy, and they don't like, chocolate bars. So they have to have an option for those folks who are very picky with Halloween scents. So I don't mind having one in the lineup. What I do mind is having like 5 pumpkin spice inspired candles, one that's not really Halloween candle at all, and then like one that's black licorice, which is something else, that's only a small selection of people enjoy. They need to really have something for everybody. And then consider holding on to them for a couple of years. If you release a candle and you take it away immediately, I don't know. Who am I to tell them what to do, though? Lauren says, is there anything you have discovered about your town that you didn't know before quarantine? This is good. For example, did you find an interesting spot or a pretty house on a walk that you haven't noticed before? That actually happens every time I go out of the house, Lauren. It's funny how when I do go out of the house now, how you look at the world differently. Because everywhere you're going has a very specific purpose. I'm not going out and just, kind of relaxing. Because I usually go on long drives with, maybe a few errands in mind, but I'll always take the long route just to relax and listen to music and think. But I found a cemetery in New Paltz, New York, just accidentally, yesterday, 2 days ago. Maybe it was, these days feel so long, but it doesn't matter. It was this ancient cemetery. It wasn't just this old cemetery. I mean, this was like like the 16th century kind of thing. And I'm like, what is this? I mean, it's in the middle of like a Frito-Lay a distribution center and a Hilton hotel. and like right in between is this little cemetery, and it's gorgeous. I mean, it's lined with stone, and I went in there and I looked, and it was actually the French Huguenots. It's a cemetery that belonged to them. The French Huguenots settled in the early 16th century in New Paltz, New York, and really interesting history there. Again, New York's history is just so rich. And just a lot of people, I bet you, don't even know what the Huguenots are. But what's interesting to me, one of the specific standout about the Huguenots is that history shows that the Huguenots, again, French, perhaps were the first to harvest grapes in the United States. Now, they would have been American varieties of grapes. They wouldn't have been French grapes or Italian grapes or the European species, Vitis vinifera, but, grapes of an American variety. So that's not old news. That's something that I only found out about a couple years back. And it's funny that even the French are responsible for wine in the United States. Possibly. They weren't harvesting the grapes for wine. That's important to note. They were harvesting the grapes just to eat in jams, preserves, I'm sure. But I thought that was interesting. So I found a cemetery, and I found some and I went to the post office, and I walked. And I just kept walking, and I just was going through farmland. I'm sure I was trespassing. I apologize to any farm owners, but I wasn't doing anything wrong. I just wanted to get some cool video on my on my camera, and I saved a turtle. That has nothing to do about discovering anything, but a tortoise this big. A turtle this big was crossing the road, and I passed it, and I'm like, oh man, that thing is gonna get hit. So I stopped and I moved it. I wish I had filmed it. Amanda, what do you hope to see in Yankee Candle's Halloween event? What scents would you like to see return? My prediction is, if there is an event, which I do think there will be, that Happy Halloween will return finally this year as a returning classic. I think Haunted Hayride will certainly be back. Trick or Treat will be back. They may not promote those like all over the catalogs and send you the emails, but they'll be on the shelves. Hopefully Witch's Brew will be back as well. And then you have the new candle, which is, I'm assuming, a brand new concept, even though they've used the name before, Pumpkin Patch, which has to be a pumpkin candle, pumpkin spice of some kind. I don't know if that leaves room for another new candle. I think we're all hoping if we could just get one more new candle for Halloween, I think we'd all be happy. But there's so many that people want returned at this point that, they could really just do old fragrances this year, which I wouldn't be fully against that. Bring back Haunted Hollow, Black Magic, and the others I just mentioned, and forget about coming up with a new one. I know a lot of people, you probably don't like that, but Shonda says, Shane, have you ever loved a scent only to find it too painful to enjoy because, this is good. Shane, have you ever loved a scent only to find it was too painful to enjoy because what you now associate with, you associate it with a bad memory? When I open Moonlit Blossoms, which is a Yankee Candle fragrance, a recent contemporary fragrance, now I feel raw grief as I had it going when my mother died last August. I'm sorry, Shonda. I will never be able to burn it again. A candle. So this is a really, really, really good question, because this obviously comes up not necessarily on camera with you guys, but this is a topic that comes up a lot with me when I talk about aroma with people. That, yeah, I mean, I'm always proclaiming that, candles bring back great memories. They're tied to all of the best moments of our lives. And but they're also tied to really bad moments too. I think, to truly understand this, it's the perfect analogy is the breakup song, or the song that was the song on that perfect summer when you were dating so and so in high school and you broke up, and every time you listen to Jesse's Girl on the radio, you're thinking of that sweetheart in high school or in college or later in your life. It never stops becoming. We never stop making these associations. They for me seem to be stronger when I'm younger, but no, I haven't had that experience. I really have not, thankfully. I mean, I've been emotional. I lost my father a year and a half ago, and there's been countless scenarios where it's not just candles. I mean, it's anything. I mean, I was making Thanksgiving dinner the first year, and just the smell of, the house smelling like Thanksgiving. The only thing is, to me, it's not grief, the way my mind handles it is different than music for me. It handles it in a comforting way. I think that's why I do enjoy Aroma so much, because it always seems to be, Aroma is far more healing to me, even if it is evoking a sad subject. But before it evokes the sad part of the story, it usually provokes the happy part of the story. So, for example, a Christmas candle would remind me of my father. Christmas, picking out the Christmas tree. Just the smell of the Christmas tree in general reminds me of my father. But it instilled some kind of, this feeling of, this was what I would recommend, Shonda. Instead of feeling grief when you burn moonlit blossoms, try smelling it again. Be brave, try smelling it again. And if you go through the same thing, I apologize, but see if you can train your body to find a happy feeling that reminds you of your mother. Because if that fragrance can become not a candle that brings you grief, but can bring back a little piece of your mom every time you smell it, now that candle is gold, because you can buy several jars, keep it on your shelf the rest of your life, and whenever you go back to it, mom is there, and it sounds silly, but in many cases, there's been a very strong level of comfort knowing that people and things of my past that are gone or out of my life, they're still right here on my shelf. And I can go and, just like with photographs, go back at any time and feel those feelings. Yeah, it sounds like you were burning that candle during a very specifically bad time in your life. I don't think it reminds you so much of your mother as it does of the time. So it's a very good topic, and I'm sorry I don't have a better answer for you. But I would say take my suggestions. Try to even that song that you heard in high school that hurts you, that pains you to listen to it after a breakup. You can readjust that. You can I have. And if I can do it, you can do it. So thank you for sharing that, Shonda. That's a very good question. Chris says, simple question, Shane, MCU or DCEU? Marvel Cinema Universe? Marvel Comics Universe? Marvel Cinematic Universe? I'm guessing. I'm not a big... And then DC, as in like DC, Superman, Batman, Extended Universe. So I do got those. Marvel, DC. But I'm guessing in the cinema world. Let's put it this way. I'm all about Batman and Superman, DC. But I'm of course a big Disney fan. So Marvel has kind of grown on me over the past couple of years. I mean, a little bit, but growing up, buying comic books, my brother was more of like Amazing Spider-Man, and I was more of like the Hulk and Batman, Superman, so on and so forth. So I would say DC. Thank you, Chris. Claudine. Is Claudine watching? She can't be watching. She'd be sleeping by now. But it's so great to see her post. You have to look up Claudine. She's an amazing photographer and blogger. When you could spend some time in Europe, which places would you choose? It's so hard because I would feel so guilty if I had the opportunity to travel to Europe. And I have a good answer for you. I would feel guilty about if I went to Europe and I didn't go to all of the wine countries, all of the places that I studied for years and years and years, to take that opportunity to see it with my own eyes, to walk through the vineyards in Tuscany, to walk through the vineyards in Bordeaux and Burgundy and Alsace and the Rhone Valley and the Loire Valley. It's, I was going to just... internship abroad after I left Napa Valley so that I could do so. But something that piqued my interest the other day, I was procrastinating, didn't want to get any work done, and I had never read the book Agatha Christie's Murder on the Orient Express. And it was brought to my attention that I never read it, so I purchased it on Amazon. I got it. And it was sitting on my desk, and I'm like, the Orient Express. I know that, it's not necessarily the original anymore, or maybe it is the original. I remember David Copperfield made one of the train cars disappear in the early 90s. Maybe it was the late 80s. But I've always been fascinated. I love Raymond Chandler. I love Dashiell Hammett. I unfortunately just haven't read anything Agatha Christie, so I need to brush up. But the idea of being on a train in the snow, in the Carpathian Mountains, or just somewhere cold and vast, and just do it in luxury. Oh my God! Like the Polar Express style. It just seems like there's just nothing more romantic in the world. To just that old, school style of traveling in luxury on the train car. And they do such an amazing job. They go from city to city all year round. They have great trips, but twice a year they actually do the trip that's made in the book, in the adaptations of the book, which is from Istanbul to, I think, Istanbul to Venice. Does that make sense? I don't know. I can't remember the original route, but anyway, it's like a 2-day journey, or more than that, a several-day journey, and I would love to do that. So, God, that was a long answer. But I would love to do, because to me that would be a way of seeing a big chunk of Europe and do it in a way that would be so incredibly fun. And you could still get out of the train. They make stops. I'm going to need a tour guide though, Claudine. Madeline Stewart says, what is your favorite spearmint and or peppermint candle? All right, something that we talked about at the beginning of this video. So, Burn Something Candle Company, well, we know Angel's got a couple, but my all-time pull at the heartstrings candle, that's going to be Yankee Candle's Merry Christmas. It's usually not released. I think the last time it was released in retail, 2013, 2014. but it's usually in the outlets, and it's poured every year. It just, the label doesn't look as pretty. It used to have, you can picture it. It has that very Coca-Cola like Santa Claus, like Coca-Cola ad Santa Claus on it. Only he's not drinking a Coke. Kind of like the Christmas Eve label, but it's just a big sweet peppermint experience. But even though it's sweet, it still clears the sinuses. And Candy Cane Cottage is a newer Yankee Candle that, it's got a little bit more fluff to it. Fluff in a good way, sweetness. But definitely, definitely good. Peppermint it's just synonymous with Yankee Candle. And then Yankee Candle's peppermint bark. Even though they don't make that anymore either, it'll hold this special place in my heart. What is your favorite, Maggie says, what is your favorite drink inspired candle? These are such good questions today. I love Alpine Martini. Good for you. That's a great one. That was a part of the 2016 Christmas collection initially. I believe 2006. Yes. Alpine Martini. It was like a rosemary pomegranate thing, if I'm not mistaken. They brought it back a couple times. Also, do you always have a candle or multiple candles burning in your house when you're at home? I don't. If anything, this quarantine thing has really allowed me to get back to like a schedule where I have a routine, and I'm like, I have an agenda of like, okay, today it'll be this, tomorrow it'll be this. Yankee Candles, I don't, unless I'm going to be chilling for 4 hours, because I buy paraffin 22-ounce house warmer jars, Yankee Candle. You really don't want to light them unless you got 4 hours. Sometimes, for whatever reason, it might take you a little bit longer, if like the AC is on during the summer. So I unfortunately don't get to do it. I used to, and especially when I was in California, because it was kind of a medicine for me. It fixed that. I miss home. I miss New England. I miss New York. It acted as a kind of an end of the day. It was almost like an end of the day cocktail, only it was a candle. But what is your favorite drink? You know what was a good one? If I could just think of the name. Eggnog Martini? I loved that candle. I think it was Christmas 2018. No, Christmas 2017. Yes, Christmas 2017, Eggnog Martini. I loved it. And I thought everyone was going to be, not everyone, because let's face it, eggnog's never going to be popular, but I thought so many people were going to like it. And it just wasn't a hit. And people were like, no, no, no. I loved it. It smelled like a little bit like gin. It smelled like eggnog. I loved the label. Even Witch City Wicks, Liz made an eggnog Christmas candle that she no longer makes, and that one was really good too. But let me think of just one other one. Beverage. Any, peppermint hot cocoa by Kringle is an awesome one. I'm trying to think more of like a fruity cocktail. Honeycrisp apple cider, I think, is a perfectly decent candle. I just wish I had a better one. A cocktail. I think that's probably the best I'm gonna be able to do at the moment. Dang, because I love those questions. I'm cheating, obviously. I mean, there's literal beverage themed candles. Like I'm looking at Fruit Smoothie by Yankee Candle, long time retired. Nectarine and Honey. Apple cider, but I can't think of one that's not necessarily promoted. Is there something like bourbon? I just can't think of something. I'll tell you what, though. I made a candle at the Yankee Candle Village. They have, I forget what they call it, but the bar where you can mix your own candle. And I convinced them to allow me to use a couple extra fragrances. You're only supposed to pick 3, but I added a couple extra. And this thing, I don't know if it'll burn good, but it smells beautiful. I'll openly say right now, and I'm not saying this because I'm like bragging. I didn't make the fragrance oil, but I did spend a lot of time working on the ratios. It smelled like a better version of Honeycrisp apple cider. It smelled, because I put a little bit of bourbon in there, and it gave it this apple brandy, caramel apple, very autumn, but still, to me, with a luxurious feel. That would be, I think, good for a cocktail concept. So thank you very much for all of your questions. I really appreciate it. I like that we started doing that because it allows me to spend a little bit more time talking about other topics. Madeline is saying right here, and I'm sorry that I couldn't address these, but Madeline was saying, Yankee Candle's Christmas Eve is difficult because it was my mother's favorite. It's hard. Rachel says Santa's Village in summer is gorgeous. So many things to video in the White Mountains. Even the train ride. I don't know if they have to run the train ride, but I'm always, every year when I go to the White Mountains to do the Christmas Santa's Village video, I'm like, well, I got to do this train ride in the snow, but maybe I can do that. And I got to go to the Christmas loft. I'm always passing that up. There's the wood-covered bridges that have history. I got to hit them up. So that probably will be one of my first trips out. Leslie says, I want Haunted Hollow to be back. So do I. I can't help but be reminded every time someone says, I want Haunted Hollow to come back, how much everyone hated it the day they first smelled it. And now they take it away and everyone wants it. I'm not saying, Leslie, you hated it. I'm sure you probably loved it. And I think you were actually there that day when I smelled it for the first time too. Or I smelled it in the summer. But anyway, the point is, candle companies can't win. If they keep a candle, they're like, people are like, why is this here and nobody buys it? Like Happy Halloween, nobody bought Happy Halloween any year. And as soon as they take it away, everyone wants it, and it's selling for big bucks on eBay. So they just can't win. All right, so I want to thank everyone for joining, for participating, for asking questions, joining the chat, or if you're just watching on the comfort of your couch. Just chilling. I hope you're good. Everything's all good, and that you're safe, taking care of yourself, the people close to you, and that just keeping everything positive as much as you can. Gratitude, being grateful, making a list of all the things you have to be grateful for is definitely, for me anyway, it's something that helps me get through times such as these. Not that we've had these kinds of times before, but I recommend you do so if you haven't already. Just make a list of all the things you have to be grateful for when things seem so dark and sad and depressing, and it won't fix the reality, but hopefully it'll put you in a good mindset to start every day. Thank you for joining Smell It Sunday, where we talk about candles, and a huge shout out to Angel from burnsomething.com. Folks, please just do me a favor. Follow them on Instagram. I mean, do yourself a favor, really. Follow them on Instagram, but share the love, share the support. It's the whole idea of the Candle Enthusiast, right? The whole message is to spread this positivity, just to support positivity, right? It's why I started hashtagging that thing in the first place. It's a part of the whole mission, and we want to show these folks support and encourage them to make bigger and better items. And we got to get this. Angel, if you're listening, we got to get this on the website. I love this. This is my new favorite mug. I will be seeing you folks soon. But until then, be good. Thanks again, guys. And thank you for all of the super chats. I really appreciate it. Maybe you want to buy a t-shirt? Maybe? The Candle Enthusiast. Spreadshirt.com. Just maybe. If you can. We'll see you next time, guys.